Hello everybody, and welcome to another Ravnica Allegiance draft here on the channel. This is going to be a YouTube exclusive video, so I really do hope you enjoyed. If you do, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. If this video gets to 50 thumbs up, I will be doing a special stipulation draft where I force an off-the-wall archetype. So if you like seeing that type of draft, or if you just want to support the channel, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment if you have any cool ideas for that archetype. I will be sending out a poll to all of my subscribers so you can vote on which archetype you want to see. Speaking of which, if you do enjoy the channel and the content I'm making, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It'll give you updates whenever I post new content, and it is one of the best ways to support the channel. I truly appreciate each and everybody who supports the channel by subscribing, commenting, and leaving a thumbs up. But without further ado, let's get into the draft. Okie doke, so our rare is Gruul Spellbreaker. This is a very strong rare. Before I jump into a pick, I do want to mention that I am going to be using the 5-pick method, a method that I have found great success with and that I think is probably the most reliable way to draft a strong deck in Ravnica Allegiance, though there are other methods. The method is basically to just kind of objectify the cards, not really think about their colors or anything else other than just which card is objectively the strongest in each pack. There are, of course, some like tiebreakers where monocolored cards have a bit of a preference and stuff like that. But overall, you just kind of think about which card is the strongest, because if you find the open guild, which you usually can do by taking the best card out of each pack, then you are going to end up with a strong deck, regardless of if you waste some of your early picks. Gruul Spellbreaker is better than any uncommon and any pretty much better than almost any uncommon, I think. Maybe Mortify is a little bit better. But Gruul Spellbreaker is very strong. If you can play this on turn 3, 3 mana 4/4 trample with Hexproof on your turn is just very strong. That I've actually had to choose between that and Enraged Ceratok before, and I think Gruul Spellbreaker is a little bit better. Enraged Ceratok is monocolored, which makes it a little bit trickier, because they're both 4 mana 4/4s, and this one has kind of a extra ability like Trample, and this one has an extra ability, can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. That being said, the extra mana is really nice here, but it does commit me to Gruul early on, whereas this can just be used in a Simic deck. Last time I had this pick, I took Gruul Spellbreaker and it ended up working out, but I think that I've kind of revised my approach a little bit, and I'm just going to take the Enraged Ceratok here. They're both very strong cards. Okay, pick 2. The only green card in the pack is Titanic Brawl, a card that I'm not going to take this early, but I think it is a strong card in the set if you have the right creatures. So not every deck wants Titanic Brawl, but when you have creatures like Enraged Ceratok, I just saw this flavor text. There's no time to calm it down. Run! That's great flavor text. But when you have like big creatures like Ceratok, it does make the fight spell much better. Spirit of the Spires is quite a nice card. I do think that this is a nice effect. It isn't as good as it might be, just because a lot of the flyers are just 1/1s, so making them 1/2s makes them better at blocking, but not necessarily better at attacking. Dovin's Acuity is a pretty nice card, but I think I've just been taking it more early than I should because I think it's just kind of fun to play with. I do, however, think it's going to be a little bit worse than Chillbringer. Chillbringer is really nice here. Another monocolored card. That's one of the benefits of taking the Enraged Ceratok, is that I can take cards like Chillbringer and move into Simic. So I'm pretty happy that I did take the Enraged Ceratok now, because I can kind of hedge my bets, go into Simic, and then maybe just leverage the Chillbringer to go into either Azorius or Simic, and now I just have a lot more options. Sphinx's Insight is a card that I have not actually played in this set, because I just have never found it to be the type of card that is worth it. Just 4 mana to draw 2 cards is just too slow generally. I much prefer decks that just have cards that are solid, almost always affect the board, and can just have a very solid game plan, and then win the game with like flyers or something like that, and not winning with slow card advantage spells that are a liability against aggressive decks. Here we're just going to be taking the Chillbringer. Interesting. So in this pack, Galloping Lizrog is a blue-green card. I have a blue card and a green card, so Galloping Lizrog might seem like a nice pick. However, Galloping Lizrog is incredibly slow, and oftentimes it's not even that effective. There are like a lot of creatures that have +1/+1 counters, but taking them off so that you can put all your eggs into the Lizrog basket is not always worth it. I think Lizrog is definitely playable, but you usually only would want 1 copy, and you don't really want to prioritize it. Rally to Battle is a card that I am not a huge fan of. +1/+3 is just much worse than giving a creature like +2 power on a trick like this, because a lot of the time your opponent will be able to block your creature like 2/2 with a 4/4 or something like that if you're alpha striking or something like that. And Rally to Battle is pretty easy to play around. If you make a really obviously bad attack and your opponent's like, what could they have? Rally to Battle is really the only thing. Twilight Panther is a card that I'm much higher on than I used to be. I used to think the card was really bad, but once I started playing with it, you kind of see how good it is against the Gruul decks, the big creature decks, because it just really punishes them and makes it life tricky for them. The best cards in this pack are actually Blade Juggler and Grasping Thrill, which have nothing in common with my first 2 picks. Blade Juggler is a little bit better than Grasping Thrill, I think. The reason being is that Blade Juggler is just a 2-for-1 built into a card, and they can't interact with that 2-for-1. You're going to get a creature and draw, and it replaces itself. So you just get a 2-for-1, because if this trades with a creature, then you're up a card. And that's just incredibly powerful, because you end up in a situation where you just pull ahead on cards and your opponent can't do anything about it. It's not like you blew them out with a combat trick or blew them out with a removal spell. You just straight up played your creature, your common creature, and pulled ahead on card advantage. So Blade Juggler is very strong. Another card that I could consider here is Applied Biomancy. I do have a blue card and a green card, but I think Blade Juggler is stronger, even though it doesn't go with my first 2 picks at all. One of the things you learn when you play enough Ravnica Legions, or just Ravnica sets in general, is that if you have to be willing to abandon your first 2 picks to find what's open. If you look at this pack, a lot of the cards are white cards. There's 2 cards for Orzhov, and maybe you can just find an open guild that other people haven't been able to find. Okay, but that being said, I'm not like committed to black or anything. And looking at this pack, the best card is Solana Wayfinder. This is just a 2-mana creature that can set up your next draw step, help you if you're mana screwed, help you find your good creatures in the late game so you don't draw extra lands. Solana Wayfinder is just a very solid 2-drop. It's not like the best 2-drop. I'd rather have like a Sauroform hybrid, but I think Solana Wayfinder is a very solid 2-drop. Civic Stalwart is actually a card that I had pretty decent success with when I played with it. It's not like insane or anything, but it's probably more playable than you think it is. There are certain like decks that like if you're playing a Flyers deck and you're trying to race your opponent, this card can really help with that. I like the flavor text too. Jeez, these flavor texts are really good. These are your streets, defend them. This is your neighborhood, honor it. This is your city, save it. Yeah, really nice flavor text. And other than Solana Wayfinder, I think Bladebrand is a good card. I used to as I keep saying, it was a card that when I first looked at it, I was like, this card doesn't seem that good. Maybe it doesn't affect combat enough, but it actually turns out to be pretty decent because the big creature decks, the adapt guys, it's just pretty good against those. But we're just going to take the Solana Wayfinder, move back towards green, and here Sauroform Hybrid keeps us in green. It's also just the best card in the pack. So really just the flexibility that we've been able to achieve in this draft is really nice. I think Summary Judgment's nice, Imperious Oligarch is nice, but the Sauroform Hybrid is just really flexible pick. Keep us in green. One card I do want to mention is Consigned to the Pit. I think people see this and they're like, wow, it's so much worse than something like Final Payment or something like Summary Judgment. But I think Consigned to the Pit, oftentimes in your black decks, the games are going to be pretty grindy and you're just going to want every removal spell you can get. So playing one Consigned to the Pit is pretty effective. Rebel Pelt Recluse is a card I'm not a huge fan of. There's just a lot of death touch creatures, and just having to attack with this is kind of a liability. That being said, I still think it's playable in Rakdos. Tin Street Dodger, however, I think is unplayable. The fact that you have to pay mana to make it unblockable just really makes it bad, in my opinion. So we're just gonna take the Sauroform Hybrid. And we were kind of trying to use the 5-pick method. I mean, we took the Blade Juggler over like a Adaptive Biomancy, but that wasn't really like the perfect draft to highlight how the 5-pick method works because we didn't take the gold card. One thing is if we'd taken the Gruul Spellbreaker over the Enraged Ceratok, but I think that you have to be a little bit more flexible than just straight up taking the most powerful card. So maybe I did explain it a little bit incorrectly, but I think this card has a very similar effect on the game, so I just prefer taking the Ceratok. Okay, so High Alert is a card that I have come a little bit around on, but I still don't really play it ever. It just hasn't really performed from what I've seen. There's a lot of decks where it's really good, but I tend not to draft those decks because I just prefer not to play cards like Pegasus Courser and things like that, and Humongulus and things. Humongulus is even like 5-mana 5/5 is like a good creature for blue, especially hexproof, but like 5-mana 5/5 is like a very mediocre card for like a green deck or something. This pack is really interesting because the color that I'm most committed to is green, and I really do want to play a green deck, but the best card in this pack is probably Noxious Grudion. Maybe High Alert, but I don't really want to play a green High Alert deck. I mean, all my creatures are big anyway. Noxious Grudion, and then I play Golgari, but that's not really a strong deck in the format. You give up a lot of power in future packs if you move into a color combination not supported by gold cards. I could just take a Mammoth Spider, but at this point I'm pretty committed to green. Like, they're really good cards that I have in green. And 5 picks in, you generally want to start choosing your direction. So I haven't actually played Cerulean Caretaker ever. It's kind of an interesting card. It's not like good, but it's kind of interesting. It's a type of card that is reminiscent of cards that have been okay and constructed, like Loam Dryad in the past. Kind of a neat effect. I think I'm gonna just take Mammoth Spider, keep myself in green, and then see which direction I want to go. It's weird. I'm seeing like cards that would put me into green-white, but green-white's not supported. That's just one of the things you have to realize, is you can't really play green-white because then you can't get rewarded by powerful gold cards. So I think here we're just going to take Seadra Savant. It's a fine 2-drop pick instead of your draws, and yeah. We'll take it over Titanic Brawl. We might wheel the Titanic Brawl we saw before, and you really don't want too many Titanic Brawls. So Titanic Brawl would be pretty good in this deck, though. It works nicely with Enraged Ceratok. It's pretty decent with Mammoth Spider, and it's okay with Starform Hybrid, too. Okay. Huh. So Thought Collapse is a card that I started off low on, went up on, and then I went back down on. I think it's just really clunky to be playing Thought Collapses in your deck. That being said, I prefer it over Wrecking Beast in Simic, because in Simic you can oftentimes hold up a thing like an Adapt, and then you kind of disguise the Thought Collapse, and that makes it a little bit better. So I think I'm going to take it here, especially because I'm pretty much moved into Simic now. And here, between these two cards, a second Mammoth Spider is probably fine. I don't really want to play multiple Thought Collapses. Yeah, I don't really want this Mammoth Spider, though, either. Maybe I'll take the Azorius Locket in case I open a white card that I really do want to splash. Yeah, let's do that. And now we get the Titanic Brawl. And a Gruul Locket in case I get a red card I want to splash. There are actually some graveyard decks that maybe I would want to Scrabbling Claws against. Not graveyard decks, but like graveyard cards. We'll just take the uncommon. Like some decks might have like multiple Gate Colossus. Ooh, this is a fun pick. I could just take an Endrace Forerunners and do something a little bit different. Endrace Forerunners is a card that I've played against, but it's like 8 mana spells you kind of have to commit to if you want to play them, if that makes sense. I mean, at this point we're playing blue-green. I could play a couple Lockets, but there's not really a ton of ramp in this format, which makes the Endrace Forerunners a little bit trickier to use. Another card in this pack is Steeple Creeper. I mean, Endrace Forerunners is actually like a game-winning effect if you play it. It can give you a nice burst. I've got a lot of creatures in this deck. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures so far. And there's nothing else really in this pack. I could take a Fairy Duelist. Fairy Duelist I much prefer as a sideboard card. Because in some matchups Fairy Duelist doesn't really do anything, but in other matchups it's really good. So I prefer it as a sideboard card. Though if you have enough like ways to spend your mana, instant speed, some Thought Collapses, some things like that. Titanic Brawl also being an instant kind of helps with this plan of holding up different instants. Fairy Duelist gets a little bit better, so I might actually just main deck that. Steeple Creeper is also a fine 3-drop, but here we're just going to take the Endrace Forerunners. It's a very unique effect, and the Steeple Creeper is a very replacement level effect. And this is a type of card that's actually really nice with my entire game plan. Warrant Warden is a very nice card to splash, because the Warden part is a really nice card. 5 mana, 4/4 Flying Vigilance is a Serra Angel, but the Warrant part can be cast in my blue deck, so I can just get the double blue and just cast that. So that's a really nice card, a card that I'm definitely considering a splash for. Skittereel is nice. I am a fan. It works really nicely with the hold up instance plan. Growth Spiral actually gets a little bit better when you have a card like Endrace Forerunners to ramp into, because it means it's not as dead of a draw in the middle stages of the game. One of the problems is there's not really a ton of incentive to ramp. I mean, because you want to get your creatures into play early. But here I can like even ramp later in the game. But I'm still not a fan of Growth Spiral in general. I just don't think it's a very good card. So I don't think I'm going to play it in this deck, but that's just something that it would be it's important to not just label a card as playable or unplayable. You have to evaluate it in context. So maybe if I have a card like Endray's Forerunners, it gets more playable. That being said, I'm just going to take the Warrant Warden here. Pretty clear pick, and if I can pick up an Azorius Guildgate, maybe I would play this Azorius Locket to help with both ramping for Endray's Forerunners and also play the Warden. Overall, just a nice card to be able to pick up for my deck. Eyes Everywhere is a card that I actually haven't played with really much. I've played against it a couple times, and it's kind of annoying in like a grindier matchup, but if you the exchange ability is not as good against other blue decks, so I really don't want it in a main deck, because if you play against a blue deck, it's just kind of a liability. Wow, Kaya's Wrath. That's kind of crazy. That being said, there's an Aeromunculus. Aeromunculus is really good. There's a Restore's Admonition, but we just would rather take the strong creature for our color. That is in our colors. So Aeromunculus is a little bit better than a Restore's Admonition. We don't really have any gates for that, and it's not going to be better than Aeromunculus anyway. Aeromunculus is just a very strong card for Simic, and one of the best, a pretty nice payoff for being in Simic. And it's like, as I was saying, you really do want the gold cards, and Aeromunculus is a gold card. And kind of pays you off. Like if we'd been in blue-black, you can't take cards like Aeromunculus. This is actually a funny pick. Sorrowform Hybrid is just way better than Combine Guildmage. Combine Guildmage is the type of card that isn't bad. Like it's still a 2-drop with upside, so it's still a good card, and you'll like play it, be happy to play it. But Sorrowform Hybrid is like actively like a threat in the late game. And that just makes it a very, very good 2-drop. So you'll take it over Combine Guildmage. But if Sorrowform wasn't in this pack, I would take the Combine Guildmage and be pretty happy to get a 2-drop that had late game utility. It's definitely something that's pretty solid. Senate Griffin's another good one. Like, you don't have to be a Azorius deck to play this. Just in my blue deck, it's just a fine card. And then there's also a gate, but we're not taking the DQ. We're just going to take the Sorrowform Hybrid here. Okay. So here, there's another Titanic Brawl. There's a Fairy Duelist. I'm actually not a fan of Swirling Torrent. The fact that it's sorcery speed really makes it a lot worse than this type of effect could have been. And also, you really only want it in your most aggressive decks. And I already kind of have like some late game stuff that I don't really want to be playing Swirling Torrent on. I could take Titanic Brawl. I could take Fairy Duelist. I think in this deck, I do want to have access to one Fairy Duelist. I already have a lot of 2-drops in the main deck, so I think it would be more of a sideboard card. Titanic Brawl is probably pretty good in this deck, though, too. But I think we will see another Titanic Brawl, probably, or potentially, and so I'd rather take a Fairy Duelist for the sideboard. Here, I don't like Wilderness Reclamation. Even in this deck that has a lot of instants, a lot of ways to adapt, I still think I'd rather just play my own cards, do my own thing. Let the cards do the stuff on their own merits. The extra mana for Wilderness Reclamation is really not super strong, because a lot of the time it really just relies on a very specific curve out. Sylvan Brushstrider and Axebane Beast are what I'm considering between. I'm just checking my curve to see what I have. I have one 4-drop, one 3-drop. I'd rather have the Sylvan Brushstrider, especially as a sideboard card against Rakdos, because that life gain can be pretty clutch. And then Clear the Mind for certain matchups where the opponent's trying to deck me potentially. Shuffling back in an Endray's Forerunners or a Warrant Warden, or even Thought Collapses to mill my opponent before they mill me could be a really nice win condition in certain matchups where they might be milling me. Collision Colossus. Collision is actually just a fine sideboard card, killing flyers. I'm not really going to be able to do the Colossus part, but this would be a fine sideboard card. Open the Gates is another consideration, considering I have a Warden, so maybe I'd want to get an Azorius Guildgate. So I think I'm going to take that over the mediocre sideboard card when I can just get a Sagittarius Volley later that does the same thing. Okay, so a little bit punished. I did get a Fairy Duelist anyway. I will take that over a Thought Collapse, though. Maybe in the matchups where I want Fairy Duelist, I'll probably want multiple. Growth Spiral, eh? So, the plot thickens. I've never actually played with this card. I have enough 2-drops probably already that I won't need it. And the thing is by the time you're getting to 8 mana, it's not a case of ramping. It's just you won't have the lands to put into play with Growth Spiral. I think Mammoth Spider might just be better for my deck. Yeah. I'm just going to take Mammoth Spider. And a Simic Locket could potentially be good. I think this is more reliable than a Growth Spiral because it can give you card advantage or be a nice ramp engine. So I kind of like it in this deck potentially. I guess I'll take this guy. Wow, another late Goblin Gathering. The Goblin Gatherings you can just get very late. Catacomb Crocodile is actually more playable than you think it is, I think. We got the uncommon anyway. Nice. Getting uncommons is nice for filling that vault up. Okay. Captive Audience. Not a card that I'm going to be playing here, but it is definitely a strong card in Limited. It pretty much puts your opponent on a 4-turn clock. You play Captive Audience, they're like, okay. At the beginning of their turn, they either lose all their cards, which is really bad. A lot of the time, they'll have to set their life total to 4, and then the next turn, they'll have to discard their hand, because if they give you 5 zombies, it's just really bad. And then the next turn, they'll give you 5 zombies, and then you can win on your turn. So, it's a very strong card. That being said, I can't take it because I'm not those colors, but strong card regardless. We're not actually going to take Gatebreaker Ram here. We don't have a single gate. We're not really looking to splash a ton of stuff, and it's just not going to be very good in our deck. Early on in a draft, I would definitely consider taking Gatebreaker Ram because I could pick up gates, but at this point, we're not really going to get there on gates. Arrester's Admonition is quite nice. Zorius Guildgate is a card I could consider, but I think I'm just going to take the Arrester's Admonition. It's just a strong effect. I can also use it as an instant if I really want to blow my opponents out, but usually I'll use this as a sorcery. And then hopefully I can get the Guildgate back, maybe. That probably won't happen, though. Huh. Consecrate Consume is a really good card, but we're not in those colors. There's just another Sorrowform hybrid, so we'll just snap that up. Slimebind is a card that I do like in this type of deck because it works nicely with like Thought Collapses and stuff like that. You can and holding up Adapt things, but Sorrowform hybrid is just really good, so you just take that pretty much every time you see it. Okay, this is a bit of a pick. There's a Gruul Beastmaster. Actually kind of a sick combo with Endray's Forerunners because you give it something an extra 5 attack. And it already has Trample. That's kind of cool. There's also Titanic Brawl, which I would like another copy of, I think, because my creatures are generally pretty big. That being said, Gruul Beastmaster is probably the pick. I don't have a ton of 4-drops. It's a very strong 4-drop. Especially if I pick up like one more, like a combat trick. So I think I'm just going to take the Gruul Beastmaster. And now I can take, what's this do? Thrash. This is actually a really strong card. I don't actually have to have red mana for this to be good. Because you usually just want to be using the Thrash half anyway. Having your creature just deal damage to something is just really nice. So I'm just going to take the Thrash here over a Simic Guildgate. And just not actually cast the other half of that card. Another Sorrowform hybrid. Yeah, this is typical for classic shenanigans here. Okay, this is interesting. Essence Capture is an interesting card. It's kind of cool to have access to like a couple counter spells. I kind of wish I'd picked up that Titanic Brawl though. Another Titanic Brawl because I don't really have a ton of removal. I guess I have the Thrash now, so that's 2 removal spells, and I have Wardened. But those aren't really the same as just hard removal spells. So I guess I could pick up the Essence Capture to help me with removal, or I could just pick up a Slimebind. Slimebind's a pretty fine effect. Just slows the game down quite a bit. I'm not a fan of Sphinx of the Guild Pact. It dies to like every removal spell. But every time my opponent plays this against me, I have like a final payment in my hand, and I'm just like laughing hysterically. So I think that this is between Essence Capture and Slimebind. Essence Capture is much worse than it would normally be because a large portion of my creatures are Adapt creatures. It does work nicely with Gruul Beastmaster though, I will say. And it's just kind of nice to have a 2-mana counterspell. I think I'm going to take the Essence Capture over Slimebind. Wow, Biogenic Upgrade coming around late. This card is really nice. Definitely happy to pick this up. Sagittarius Volley is like a good sideboard card, but this card's going to win me the game multiple times, I'm sure. So definitely just taking Biogenic Upgrade. It's just disgusting with Sorrowform hybrid. Yes, we'll just take... We could take a Growth Spiral, but we really don't want that. We don't really need that effect. I think we'll just take an uncommon to fill out our collection a little bit more. We didn't get a single gate. We'll just take a Prying Eyes for the sideboard. Coral Commando, maybe. Maybe we'll just take a Sphinx sided in certain matchups. Stony Strength is a card I'll actually play, I think. Maybe not 2 copies of, but I'll take the second copy. Stony Strength is just like, it's a fine effect. Works especially nicely when you are trading with your creatures a lot. Ooh, 60 gems, nice. So let's go to the building portion of this deck. Okay, so we are not playing any of those. We're not playing any of those. So we would rather just go 9, 9, 8. Let's see. So all of our 2-drops are pretty strong. Maybe we don't want to play Brush Strider. We have Warden, Thrash Threat, Biogenic Upgrade. Okay, so we could just consider playing one Gruul Locket and one Azorius Locket instead of a Simic Locket, because we do have this pretty high amount of top end, and that would allow us to splash our other these 2 cards if we wanted to. Though to be honest, we don't really ever want to cast Threat, so I guess we would just rather play a Simic Locket. Having a couple Lockets is not actually too bad in this deck, because we do have 4 Starform hybrids, so getting to 6 mana is actually really nice. We also don't have a ton of great 3-drops other than that. Maybe we do want to play the Sylvan Brush Strider because of that. But being able to splash Warden is pretty fine. I would have obviously preferred to get a Gate or something, but you can't always get what you want. I'll just zoom in so you can see the cards. Fairy Duelist I'm going to use as a sideboard card. I already have a lot of good 2-drops. How many creatures do I have? I have 14 creatures. Yeah, I just want as many creatures as I can get. I think I'll need the Brush Strider. I mean, I just said that. I said I'm not playing Fairy Duelist, but this is not a creature, but it needs creatures. 3. Maybe I'd rather play Fairy Duelist over Stony Strength. Yeah, that makes sense to me. It's more of a combat trick card. And then I can side in the second copy. Yeah, and then I can side in Stony Strength for the matchups where it looks like my deck is going to need some help against more combat-oriented matchups. I have a couple of Lockets for some ramp for my Endrace Forerunners. Yeah, this deck looks pretty solid. Hopefully it perform. Oh, I have 41 cards. I have to make a cut. Oops. We'll cut 1 Mammoth Spider because it's kind of just an expensive clunker. Okay, well, that is going to do it for the build and the draft. I really hope you enjoyed this segment. Remember to hit the thumbs up if you want to see me draft an off-the-wall deck in my next draft, and also if you just want to support the channel, and I hope that you'll stay with me for the matches. Hello, and welcome to round 1. We did win the die roll, and we will play first. Solid hand, we're definitely keeping. 2-drop, 3-drop. You have a Locket if we wanted to ramp. But we can just go 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, and be in very good shape. Solana Wayfinder will set us up with a land. Yep, we'll take the land. I kind of wish that was a forest. Oh, not the Zerta. Just going to keep playing creatures. Now if my opponent attacks me with the Zerta, I can attack him back for more damage than he's doing to me. Also, I can start holding up the Adapt of this plus a Thought Collapse. Thought Collapse gets much better when you have adapters, I will say. If he attacks, we're definitely not blocking. That's one of the things you pick up as you play more limited, is that in this situation, if I block, I only have downside. Like, sure, I could trade my 3-drop for his 2-drop. I mean, once it gets on the board, you don't really care about which drop it was, but I could trade my 2/3 flyer for his 3/3 if it all goes well. But if he has the Collision Colossus, I just like lose both my guys for no gain, really. And next turn, I can maybe just drop an Enraged Ceratok and just it won't matter. Okay. That's interesting. You would have think you'd do that before. We'll just put it with a counter. And we don't really want to trade because if we can just hit him for extra damage, we can hit him for 5. We can hit him for 5 plus 2, so 7 damage next turn. And if I draw a land, I can go lock it and hold up Thought Collapse. No blocks. We'll go to combat before doing anything crazy, in case he has like a stony. I actually should have played the Locket, but I wanted to. I would rather play the Enraged Ceratok than go Locket Thought Collapse here. But I figured I'd hold up the Thought Collapse in case he had a combat thing that would untap his creature. Because while I wouldn't want to have to counter that, I would counter it to save my guy and keep his guy from being bigger, like with the Stony Strength. Weird attack from him, trading 3 damage for 7. Even if he thinks he's the aggressive deck, that's not generally what you want to do when you're the one that has all the lands. I mean, not all the lands. When you have no lands, you just want the game to go as long as possible. Maybe he was hoping I would block or something. Fairy Duelist, just on time. Wow, Fairy Duelist is really good against Grill. Let's counter that, see what he's got. Okay, he has a Grill Beastmaster of his own. And that's going to be game. He can't kill all my creatures. There's no way. Okay, we're going to change the way our deck is set up for this matchup. We probably just want to bring in more. So he has a Savage Smash, which can kill this, but probably not much else. So, I think we'll cut that for another Fairy Duelist. Actually, he knows we have Fairy Duelist, so it gets a little bit worse. Once you get him with Fairy Duelist, they tend to play around it more effectively. It's also not the greatest against Collision Colossus. We'll cut that for a Stony Strength, though. And maybe we cut... No, I think we want Endra's Forerunners as a trump card for anything he's doing. Because the game could definitely stall out. Mammoth Spider, you generally don't want to side in unless the reach is going to be relevant. That's just kind of a general rule, but it holds a lot of the time. We're going to mulligan that. We just need lands. It is fine. Endra's Forerunners is really bad in this hand. That's one of the downsides of playing an 8-drop. But I kind of want to try the card out. Definitely bottoming that. Opponent put me on the play. Interesting. Very interesting. Yay, thank you, Forest. Maybe I'm supposed to play Azorius Locket instead of Simic Locket, but I have pretty decent color requirements, so. That was a really good draw. When you have the chance to go 2-drop into 3-drop, it's generally just the correct play. Okay. Opponent is pretty negative on tempo right now, but in a couple turns I might fall just too far behind. We'll see, though. Stony Strength was a pretty nice draw. Lets me use my Sorrowform Hybrid pretty nicely, I think. Okay, Enraged Ceratok. Probably going to get the counter. Just to completely shut down my hybrid. I want to get him to a low life total so that he can't like attack me with ground creatures. I'm a little bit worried about Collision Colossus. That would be really bad for me. One more land and I can adapt the Sorrowful Hybrid though. Okay. That was a big hit. Land. It'll find me a land, but not the same. I actually think I want one of these, but not both. Actually, yeah, maybe I do want just both. Get me to my End-Raze Forerunners. Okay. Okay, that's kind of a problem. That's going to have haste. That is going to have haste. So I'm going to have to jump it with my Sage-Rise Savant, I think. Yeah, we're not going to win this game. Adapt it now so we can't use a combat trick on it. No attacks, so we'll eat the Slayer Talk if he attacks with that. Otherwise we have to trade these, I guess. Yeah, that's game. Rat. Well, I think End-Raze Forerunners is too slow for the matchup, maybe. We'll just cut that. We'll cut the End-Raze Forerunners, and we'll add another Fairy Duelist. Stony Strength was pretty mediocre to bad, so actually I think we do keep the End-Raze Forerunners in. I think that our opponent's going to be putting us... Opponent wants us to be on the play, which is weird because they're kind of an aggressive deck. But... That was just kind of a bad situation for us. Let's just run it back, I guess. Kind of run it back, at least. I still think it's correct to play first in this matchup. Like, okay, this is a great hand. We'll be adapting this guy early, hopefully. He's on a mulligan. We have all of our colors. That is one of the downsides of playing End-Raze Forerunners, is there are games where it wins you the game, and then there are games like that where you just lose because of it. Kind of because of it. I'm not saying we would have won if it had been a different card, because it depends on what card it was. But we just couldn't cast it that game, which was pretty bad. Hopefully he just plays a creature here, because then we can adapt. No, we can't adapt into fight spell. Never mind. No blocks. This is a bit too much land, I will say. If he doesn't kill this guy, though, we're going to be in okay shape. Just a 6/6 is big. And then the fight spell is good then, but The fact that we kept a 4-lander with a locket and have drawn a land every turn is a bit unfortunate. So he could have just a Titanic Brawl. We could just warrant his guy, I mean. Okay, that's fine for us. Let's bounce that guy. Well, that was a nice draw. What? Well, this could just be game. Titanic Brawl is Mammoth Spider. Aw, man. We actually have enough lands to do it. Let's go. So this is going to be 7 counters on it. So it'll be a 2/2 with 7 counters. So that'll be 14 counters. So that actually works. Yes. Sweet damage in the name of damage. That was a weird chump block, I will say. Boom! Got him. That's so cool. Oh, sweet, sweet victory. Well, I hope you enjoyed that and stay with me for the next round. Hello and welcome to round 2. We did make one change to the deck. We cut a Azorius Locket for the Fairy Duelist. I think running 2 Lockets is a bit too risky. We are going to keep this hand, though. It is debatable whether to run the Azorius Locket or the Simic Locket. I think the Simic Locket's going to be more relevant because I do have decently heavy color requirements. So if I draw like a high number of islands, the Simic Locket could fix my mana a little bit, so I could cast my green spells. Because I don't have any gates to help me fix my mana. Playing against Rakdos. That's where another matchup with Fairy Duelist is pretty good. Fortunately, Blade Juggler can come down now. Oh dang, I forgot to ask everyone to predict how many wins the deck is going to get to. Rats. Well, I guess it's a bit late now, but how many wins do you think the deck's going to get to? We'll bounce the Burning Tree Vandal just to keep the cards flowing. Next turn we'll go lock it into another hybrid. And then we'll start adapting hybrids. You could give it haste here. Okay, that's good for me. I think I'm actually going to go lock it into Thrash it. I think there's some chance he should have just given it haste. Like here, the Simic Locket actually really helps me because the green mana. If this had been an Azorius Locket, I wouldn't have been able to cast my Thrash. So, kind of already rewarded for my Locket decision. I'm not going to adapt this into open mana because Grotesque Demise is just such a blowout then. As would be get the point. Okay, he just goes for it. I mean, he has to because it's a sorcery. Carrion Imp. Nice. A card that I think is underrated. So I have 6 mana. So I can go Hybrid plus Brush Strider. Or I can go Mammoth Spider. I think I prefer getting the Hybrid into play this turn. Also, this lets me potentially block the Trumpeter, which I don't really want to do because I want to adapt this guy. But it gives me a nice fighting force. I'm not the only one who can play vanilla-ish creatures with life gain opponent. Say hello to Kitchen Finks. For those who don't know, Kitchen Finks is like way better than this card. It's kind of like a 3-mana 2/2 that can gain you 2 life, and then it dies and comes back as a 2/1 that gains you 2 life. So it's much better, but I might have actually considered the double block just because it gives me, it just uses my mana more effectively, but okay. This is fine. This is fine. Now I am going to play the Mammoth Spider, and here's why. It just sets up a really nice double block onto the Rebel Pelt Recluse. This guy. Tag teaming it. And once again, the extra green mana coming in clutch, because all I can draw are islands. Yikes. Let's just kill that while we have the chance. I'm glad I didn't adapt. So he hits me for 6. No block. We'll adapt it now. No attack. I'm actually kind of scared of this Rakdos Trumpeter. It could just kill me. Then again, I could draw a Fairy Duelist, and the Rakdos Trumpeter is no longer an issue. Robopelt Recluse is really good against my deck, I think. Well, that's an easy block. I mean, we die to a burn spell, but sometimes you gotta just accept that and move on. Because otherwise this card's just gonna kill us and we can't do anything about it. Huh. Okay, that's what it was. Outplayed, I guess. Okay, we're in trouble. There's trouble in River City, as they say. This Carrion Imp is gonna kill us. It's okay, we have games 2 and 3 to beat him. Rebel Recluse is actually really good against my deck. Annoyingly so. I'm regretting using my Thrash threat. So much regret. Oh my gosh, he's got another Rebel Pelt Recluse. Yikes. Oh no. Do I even have any answers? Nope. Okay. So he has a lot of flyers, so I definitely want that second Mammoth Spider. Second Mammoth Spider is going to be good. Sphinx of the Guild Pact could be good. What do I not want? Don't really want Thought Collapse. Just a bit slow. So is Endray's Forerunners. We'll just play a Sphinx instead. Alternative top end. Rakdos is not really the matchup where you want Endray's anyway. You want it more against like Orzhov, where you can just have the board stall and win. We'll keep this. It's sketchy though. Definitely a sketchy. Oh yes. The sketchiness. Yay, land. All you need is land. Bum ba da ba dum. Plague White. A. We'll definitely trade a Sorrowful Hybrid for it. In the early game, just trade off your Sorrowful Hybrids with creatures. That's just what you gotta do. Especially against Rakdos. Plague White. Sure. Come on, land. Oh well, that's close. That's a good card. Getting that Enraged Ceratok down will be nice, though. Come on, Ceratok. Rats. I'm worried about that Rebel Pelt Recluse. Not gonna lie. Oh no, here it comes. Here it comes. Shoot. Oh, thank God. A reprieve. Could I just find a... Could I buy a land? I'd like to buy a letter. The land letter. Wait, what? That is weird. Why would you not play your 6/5 here? We're going to play Gruul Beastmaster. No, we'll play the Ceratok. No tax. Because now if we draw a land, we can go Gruul Beastmaster, Titanic Brawl, his Carrion Imp. Okay. Reclusing it up. Wow. Look how it tried to screw me. Look at Auto Tapper. Oh my God, Auto Tapper. You're a noob. Giving that counter. Auto Tapper trying to screw me. Hopefully we can rip a land and just biogenic upgrade all my guys. Oh, that would be truly glorious. No blocks. I could have gone for a double block or even a triple block there. A triple block would have been ill-advised. A double block, probably ill-advised. Because then I just lose the Grotesque Demise. Especially when I have such a powerful draw in Biogenic Upgrade. Probably not worth. So I could go Biogenic Upgrade 2 counters, 1 counter. This would get to 5. This would have 2/2 plus 3 counters, so it would have 8 counters. So this would be an 8/8. And this would become a 5/5. So this would gain 6 power. Those would gain 11. Okay, so next turn I take 6, I go to 6. I take 4, I take 1, I go to 5. I take 4, I go to 1. So I would take 7, 8, 12. But I could just jump that. Land. Ah, curses. So I'll just jump this with my Solana Wayfinder. Decline. I don't need land. Oh man, it's just sad that it was in that order. Let's see how he attacks. Obviously that guy's attacking. Okay, we're just going to chump it. Wait, let's see. So he has 2 blockers. If we go counter, 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 attack, buff this guy. He can go block, block. And this is going to be massive. This is going to be massive. This is going to be a 6/6. This is going to be a 5/3. Yeah, let's just go no blocks here. We might just be able to kill him next turn, is my logic. Maybe that was a horrible mistake and I miscalculated. Ooh, that was actually really clutch. So if I did miscalculate, we can gain back some of that life and not die. Because then we'll go to 7, we'll go to 6, and we could jump that. So let's think. If we put a counter on this, so this will become a 6/6. This will become a 4/3. I need some paper and pencil. Okay, so this is a 6/6. 6/6, 4/3, 2/2, 4/4, and this 6/6 will give 4 counters. This will also be a 6/6. I don't mind taking a little bit of time here. So he can block the 2 6/6s and go to exactly 1. Shoot. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Four, 6, 5, 6. 3, 4. 6, 6. Oh no, I have 3 6 6s. Oh no, I had him. Shoot! I did the math wrong. I even got out a pencil and paper. Why did I write 4 4? This is a 6 6. Oh my god, I'm so bad. I'm so bad, everybody. I'm so sorry. I could have given this a counter. This would have been a 6 6. This would have been a 6 6. This would have been a 4 3. I attack, give the bonus to this thing. He then blocks this guy and this guy, say, and he takes 6, 7. Oh no, I did do the math. No, he takes 6 plus 4, so he takes 10. Ah, no, the math. Why math? Why? We're not going to attack now. We don't want to die to something random. I mean, we're already dead. Don't get me wrong. Actually, we're not really dead. Because he can't activate this and also do other things. So Sylvan Brush Strider was like, I mean, we would have had to go for it. Yeah, we had him dead. Ah, I'm so sad. I did math wrong. I suck. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed in my math abilities. Shoot. Wow. Well, we deserve to lose that game. Oh, I'm so mad. I even wrote it down. Why would I write that? That was a 4 4. Ah, curse you. Oh my gosh. Dang it. I had him dead. I had him dead. Well, that was a crying shame. I'm so sad. At least I figured out that I had lethal. So I can do better next time, I guess. Oh, man. I cannot believe I lost that game. I had lethal. I even planned it out. I should have planned it out the turn before instead when I was deciding whether or not to chump block. Because I should have chump blocked if I wasn't gonna. Dang it. That would have been a 6-6. That would. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, everybody. Anyway, that's going to do it for round 2, and I'll talk to you for the next round. Hello, and welcome to round 3. This is going to be a keep, but it's not a very good one. I'm still a little bit sad about that round 2 loss, but such is life. Everyone makes mistakes. That was just a really bad one. Shoot, why did I... Oh, man. I guess it was just really simple lethal that I missed. Rats. Rats, rats, rats. Would have just been 10 damage. Drawing Sylvan Brush Strider lost me the game, because otherwise I would have had to go for it. But in reality, I lost me the game, so I'm not like blaming my cards. Arg, I could have totally won. Wow, those were some fine cards. But not gonna lie, I just want to draw land, so don't really care. Yay! This is actually really nice because Gruul Beastmaster now I can use the Fairy Duelist. I can like attack with this and this. Fairy Duelist down. This guy goes for a triple block or something. This is going to be a good matchup for End-Raze Forerunners. I'm happy to trade off my 3-2 for his 1-4. But I will try to save it, I think. Sure. Wow. That's got to be the most effective rally to battle I've ever seen. So rally to battle will essentially kill one of my 2 cards. I think I'd rather have it kill the Sylvan Brush Rider. Dang. Did not see that coming. At least I don't lose both my guys. Well, that's game. Jesus. 3, 6, 10, 14. Jeez, jeez, jeez. That could save me. Oh no, I forgot about the high alert ability. I'm so bad. Oh my god. No. Completely wrecked. Wait, he didn't use it? What? He had me dead on board. No attacks. So I can go block, double block, block. And I go to 1. Or I could double block this one, chump block, like single block that, and then chump block there. Yeah, that seems better. But this way I kill his flyers, which are the trickier ones. And then I can play Wayfinder and have Warrant up. We don't want any of those. When we play this card, it'll win us the game, I think. So I think we have stabilized decently well. No! Could we have just straight up avoided that? If we just go to blocks, block, block, and then we end up bouncing this guy instead of the other guy. Would have had this guy die, though. So we would have had our 3-5 against the 4-4. Yeah, now we lose. Oh my god. I'm so sad. That's so triggered. Triggered. Conclusion is that Endray's Forerunners has just been horrific every time I've drawn it. So I guess it's not very good. That was kind of what I thought, but I wanted to try it out. Maybe have a sweet play happen or something. Dang. Got wrecked by Rally the Peasants. Who would have thought? Bottom. Not Rally the Peasants. Rally to Battle. Sorry. Two drop, three drop, four drop, five drop. Boom, 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 boom. Of course my 3-drop can't attack through that. Ooh, milling 3 non-lands. That's good for me, kind of. They were pretty good non-lands, but, you know, I just want to curve out. Five drop, 6 drop. Doesn't have Rally the Peasants up. Not Rally. Rally to Battle. Sentinel's Mark. Oh, yes! We're in great shape this game. Oh, yes! Yes! We're going to win. Oh, man. We're bouncing back, folks. We're bouncing back in a major way. The bubbles, the bubbles, the bubbles, the bubbles. Opponent is letting all of this bubbliness. Okay. So he blocks here. Now he can't block. He's taking 3 no matter what. Unless he wants to block here. So he's taking 3. Then he can chump here, eat here. Yeah, we'll just attack with these 2. So now he has to chump the Sorrowform Hybrid. Funny story, I couldn't even cast Endray's Forerunners if I had it, because I have 6 of my 8 islands. Oh man, that would be the tilter. Well, he has Rally to Battle. That's clear. Maybe a Fairy Duelist. I don't know. Dang, I could have... Shoot, I forgot I had 3 creatures. Maybe he has like a Summary Judgment or something. I don't even know, but that's a really weird attack. It threw me off. Also, I should have totally just countered that. Wow, my mana is really bad right now. Like, horrifically bad. Hopefully he tries to cast an expensive creature. Okay. I think he has Summary Judgment. And maybe Summary Judgment and Rally. I think I'm playing this really badly, by the way. I'm just like rattled from last game, I guess. Let's just hope this is good enough. I mean, it definitely is, but yeah. Jeez, that was so poorly played. I could have killed him like 10 turns before I killed him. I'm sure of it. Well, I'm not 100% sure of it, but I'm almost positive. Gonna cut. A Fairy Duelist. I just want a big flyer that can block his flyers. Oh, man. Okay. This is a solid hand. Nice. Opponent's on a mulligan. Nice. Things are working out. Wow, that is a phenomenal draw. It works really well with the Aeromunculus and the hybrid. And he missed a land drop. Things are looking good. I should just get in the habit of attacking before I play this, but it doesn't matter here. Looks like we might have a good situation on our hands. Okay. I considered thrashing, but then I can't play my Wayfinder. Like, I would have thrashed, and then I would have been able to hold up Titanic Brawl for whatever he did on my turn. Sure, let's just get a good 5-drop. So if I put all the counters on this guy, that is 5. That's 6 counters, so that's 6, 8, 10. Let's attack like this then. Yay, we won. Victory. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Hello, everybody, and I do apologize. I forgot to turn my microphone on for the last round. It was a pretty tilting round anyway, though. I lost a close 3-game match to a Dovin's Acuity deck, where my the highlight for my opponent was Thought Collapsing me, then Thought Collapsing me, and then Clear the Minding, and then drawing both Thought Collapses in a row again. So, yeah, that was frustrating to lose to. But, yeah, sorry about that. I did get a sick Endrace Forerunner's kill, so the card did perform in Game 1, because I baited out the counterspell, and then I won with it. But in Game 3, I got my opponent to 1 life and then lost. So, yeah, that is going to do it for the draft video. We got in 3 matches recorded, though, so that was pretty nice. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and I will talk to you all next time.